Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to syracuse.com's SOS Spotlight Athlete of the Week. Today, we're joined by Baldwinsville Sam Mellinger. Now, if it was fall, Sam would be dominating on the football fields. But it is springtime, so he's getting ready to wrap up a great outdoor track season in which he's set school records in the 100, 200-meter dash, and the 4x100 with his teammates. So thank you for joining us. You're a busy guy. Thanks for making time for us.
Thank you for having me.
Quite a senior season. You were all CNY football. You were all CNY indoor track. I'm going to guess you stand a good chance being all CNY outdoor track. If somebody told you start of the season, you're going to have this heck of a senior season, what would you have thought? Would you have believed them?
I would believe him in all honesty, because I've been working hard for this, and I don't know, I just left it in God's hands. So this is what he wanted.
As you look back, and we're still got a little bit of ways to go in spring, what do you attribute the fact you've had such a strong, complete senior season to?
I think my work in the summer. I think that's really what pushed me over the edge. I stayed in the weight room and I stayed talking to coaches, trying to get better and improve, even when I wasn't in school.
Now, you ripped off a couple of school records, personal records, and there's some big meets coming up. Did you set those marks in your head, like, hey, I'm going to break these records before I go, or did they just kind of unfold as the season's coming?
So the 100-meter, I was actually on the bus and I told the guys, I was like, I'm going to run a 10.8 today. And everyone kind of looked at me crazy because I ran like an 11.1 last year. And they're like, first meet of the season. I was like, I promise you I'll run a 10.8. And I went out and I ran a 10.8. So with that one, I definitely premeditated that one. But the 200, honestly, I just ran. And I was like, oh, wait, I think that's a school record. And I was like, oh, all right.
So you called your shot on the 100, huh?
Yeah.
You just feeling confident that day?
Yeah, I was feeling it.
Do you often do that, or is that kind of out of character for you?
I like to dream big, shoot big. So yeah, I do that often. But,
yeah. Well, jumping back to football, this is your first full year as a starter, and you certainly took advantage of it. Tell us a little bit about the football season. And last year was a COVID shortened season. It was played in the springtime, so this was a return to normalcy. You got out there and you dominated. Take us through the football season and what that was like for you.
In the beginning, there was a lot of clashing of heads because we really hadn't played with these guys. We only played three games with like the juniors coming in. But through the middle, we kind of like seasoned it out. We like figured it out. And overall, we had a good season. We made it to a dome. We didn't get the finish we'd like, but we made it as a family. We win together and we lose together. So
football is so different than track, although it's quite common for athletes in football to participate in weight events or sprint events. So it's not obviously not unusual, but I'm sure a lot of people are curious, would you prefer football over track over football, or do they just kind of complement each other and maybe co-favorites?
I think they'd have to be co-favorites because I really can't pick one because I love them both for different things.
Well, let me narrow it down. What is better, sprinting over the goal line, the football in your hand, or sprinting to the finish line, hitting the tape first?
Oh, definitely the goal line. Definitely the goal line.
And why is that?
It's a feeling that like can't be explained. Like I like running track and like winning races, but like scoring a touchdown is the most satisfying thing I've ever experienced.
Well, both have their pluses and both involve a tremendous amount of speed. When you can run that fast, and maybe it feels like flying, I don't know, but in track, you've got those 10 seconds, 20 seconds, boom, it's over. What does that feel like when you can run that fast? And what are you thinking in those blink of an eye moments?
I'm really not thinking. Like, I can't really explain it. I kind of just like black out. I have tunnel vision. And then after the race, I'm like, oh, I just ran. Like, okay, I'm good. So that's pretty much it.
Does it feel like ever at times like flying, or does it just feel like driving the car really fast? Like what sensation would you compare it to?
Well, I don't know if I can answer about the flying part. I've never flown, but it does kind of feel like driving a car. You do kind of get that feeling, like the wind in your hair, pushing it back. Yeah.
I know technique is so important. You don't have much time to look at your competitors, but do you ever out the side of your eye, throw a glance and think, I'm going to catch you or you're not going to catch me? I mean, do you ever have time to think about who you're running against?
Not really. I remember my junior year, I threw a glance and coach pulled me aside and he's like, "That was a great race. Don't do that again." And I was like, "All right." And I haven't done it since. So,
What about before the race starts? Do you look at your competition and think either, man, it's going to be a tough one, or you guys had no chance against me today?
I like to remain humble, but yeah, sometimes I just look and I'm like, "This is gonna be a good race." So,
Have you ever tried any longer distances, or is 100, 200 pretty much as far as you want to go?
I run the 400, the 4x4. I have the fastest split on that. So.
Sometimes when you sprint, well, any kind of fast running seems kind of out of reach for most of us, but running like a marathon or a 800-meter or a mile just seems crazy. In football, sometimes you probably have to do a little bit of longer running. What's your attitude approach toward longer distances? Do you think you could ever go 400, 800?
I can do 400. 400 is manageable. 800, no, absolutely not. I don't think I could.
When you watch those guys lapping around, the mile or longer, you must be thinking, what are they thinking?
I, I have a ton of respect for them because I know I couldn't do it. So,
Do you ever remember how you started in track and, when you first realized maybe you were just a young kid running around with your friends? Hey, I'm pretty fast here. Like, when's the first time you said, maybe I could do something with this?
uh, I used to live in Liverpool, and me and my friends would always come outside, and we always play tag. And my friend brought his older cousin out, and I raced him, and I beat him. And I was like, "Oh, I love this running stuff." It was a great feeling. So yeah, ever since
How,
then, I kept everything.
how old would you say you were back then?
I was in like third grade. Oh no, however old I was in third grade.
And until then, it never really struck you like, hey, I'm going to be faster than almost everybody around here.
Not really.
But from then, it must have been, let's go, right? I mean, is that when you started to focus on making something out of running?
I didn't really start focusing on it until like ninth grade. Cause when I was a freshman, all the seniors would like talk to me and they'd guide me and they'd be like, "Yo, if you like take this serious, like you be fast." And like I was a freshman, so I was like, okay, whatever. But they made me work out with them, and then ever since then I kind of started taking it serious. And then this year I just went full throttle. I was like, it's my last year, might as well see how far I can take it.
Football, you're supposed to have moves, and doesn't matter how you get in the end zone, you bump off guys, you can be, running all around, just get the job done. The track technique is so important. And if one little thing in the 100-meter, 200 meters, one twitch, one arm placement the wrong way throws you off and you're done.
Yeah.
The technique must be really hard to get down, right? How hard is that technique to get down? What's the key to sort of keeping everything working for those 10 seconds?
I feel like the most important part of a race is staying relaxed because I feel like when you tense up and everything, you don't run as fast. So I feel like you stay like relaxed. I think that's the most important step, most important technique, in all honesty.
But is that hard to do when you're in a big meet and you're so pumped up?
Sometimes it can be, but once you get in those blocks, it's just like it's game time. So I feel like you just relax, like a weight's lifted off your shoulders, and you're like, "There's no way out of this, so I'm just gonna run." You know what I mean?
Well, there are a lot of fast high school athletes in the section of the state. The state's coming up a little bit later. What is realistic, assuming you stay in the 100, 200-meter uh, events? What do you see as realistic as far as you being able to do beyond the section?
I'm top three in the state for the 200 and top three for the 100, and the 4x1 is number two in the state. So I think we'll podium. I think I'll podium all my events. That's what I'm hoping to do. And on the national stage, like at nationals, New Balance nationals, I'm not sure how I'll do, but definitely a PR at least.
And then beyond that, you're going to Milford Prep School next year. So I would imagine during the summer, midsummer, late summer, you have to check out down there. Now, obviously, very bright future in track. You also have a strong background in football. Uh, what will your future hold? What sports are you going to play? You have to pick one.
If I had to pick one, I guess it just depends on like my offers, in all honesty. Like, I love the game of football. Like, I've loved it since I was little. And this year I've really fallen in love with track. So I think wherever I end up is where God wants me to be. So yeah.
Would it, I mean, nobody wants to give up a sport if football's done for you. Would that be a hard thing to deal with, or would you just put all your energy towards track?
I think I'll struggle with it. You know, I'll turn on the TV on Sundays and be like, dang, like I really had to hang up the cleats. But I don't know. I think I'd be happy, like even running track, because it's just a goal of mine to play a sport in college. And I feel like that alone is a blessing that I have those opportunities laid out in front of me.
Well, you've got 1 or 2 or 3 more weeks left at Beeville to do some cool things. When you look back at your high school career, what you remember the most? What do you think you'll miss the most?
Honestly, I think I'll miss the coaches the most. Like, they've been a family to me, like parental figures in my life, and they've gone above and beyond for me time and time again. So honestly, I think I'll miss them the most because they've shaped me to be the person I am today.
Will there be something you're most proud of athletically that you look back and say, man, I did that?
I think the 3 school records, I think that would be pretty cool.
And again, who knows, we've got a little bit more time to improve upon them. So that would be something to look back at. If somebody had said to you, you were leaving with 3 school records, you know, as a freshman, you know, four years ago, and you look back at freshman Sam, would you have believed that?
I would have thought they were crazy because my times were not adding up with the times I run now. So I'd have been like, no way. I'd be like, you're joking.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of fun at Baldwinsville. Winning is fun, football, and running fast individually is also fun. So it's been a great few years for you, I would imagine, right?
It has been.
Especially, I'm sure it's very gratifying having such a full and exciting senior season. When last year, because of COVID, things were shuffled around so much. And then 2 years ago, because of COVID, there was no outdoor season. How important was it to you to, in your final full year, just get as much in as possible and try and leave on a strong note?
I think it's very important to me, but I really wish I could have had like that full experience. But I feel like not having that experience makes me appreciate the experience that I have now even more. So it's like I have a love-hate relationship with it.
Well, what do you think you learned to appreciate most out of sports, looking back through the ups and downs there?
Just like the brotherhood, like even like going out to eat like after games, those team dinners, even the bus rides, even though we had to use football pads and it was not a fun ride, I think that's what I'll miss most.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll let you get back to school and then practice later today. We do appreciate you joining us today, Sam. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good luck in the rest of the season. We'll be talking to you later. And to all our viewers out there, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with another Syracuse.com SOS Spotlight Athlete of the Week. Have a good week, everybody.